Minister, Liam Fox has said we're some way off any free trade deal with China, and it might not even be the final outcome. So what is the point of getting out of the customs union?
The point of getting out of the customs union is that we will be leaving the European Union, so we will be coming out of the customs union, and coming out of it means that we can do free trade deals around the rest of the world. Yes, as before,
we're saying very clearly that we can strengthen ties with countries like China and remain in the customs union.
What we will be doing is ensuring that we take back control of our money, of our borders and our laws as we leave the European Union. We will be negotiating a trade agreement with the EU for the future, a trade agreement which we will want to ensure gives us as tariff-free and frictionless trade across our borders with the EU as possible. But coming out of the EU gives us the freedom to sign free trade deals around the rest of the world. Yes, with countries like China, but of course that takes some time to negotiate. Before we get there, we can enhance our trade as well. That's what my trip is about here in China over the last few days.
I've got businesses here. Your own government's analysis suggests that those free trade deals will not replace trade loss by leaving the EU.
I've got businesses here who have been signing deals here in China that mean there will be more jobs for people back in the UK. That's good for people in Britain. And the analysis you refer to isn't complete. It doesn't even model the sort of arrangement that we want with the EU for the future. But what we are doing is getting out around the world, ensuring that businesses are able to open up markets to British products. Great British products will now be sold in China that haven't been possible to be sold in China before. We're seeing more jobs coming to the UK as a result of the deals that businesses have done on this trip. This is good for people of Britain, it's good for the UK.
At this late stage in the negotiations, why isn't that analysis complete? Why doesn't it model your preferred model?
Well, the negotiations with the EU have been in two stages. The first stage was completed in December. Many people thought we wouldn't complete that first stage, we wouldn't get what we wanted. Well, we did. We came to that arrangement with the EU, crucially about citizens' rights, the rights of those people from the EU who already live in the UK. We're now on to the second stage. That's about negotiating the future relationship.
Basing your decision not complete at this late stage?
Well, we haven't negotiated the future arrangement with the European Union. That's what we're now doing. That's what we're starting to do. We want that to be as frictionless and tariff-free as possible. But coming out of the European Union, coming out of the customs union, means we can do free trade deals around the rest of the world. That's good for Britain, it's good for prosperity in Britain, it's good for jobs for people in Britain.
Do you agree with Steve Baker that all economic forecasts are wrong?
It's important, of course, that government looks at the analysis that is available. But of course, it's also important that government does what the British people want us to do. The British people want us to leave the European Union, and that's what we will be doing. And as we do it, we are going to ensure that we don't just take back control of our money, our borders and our laws, but also that we get a good trade deal with the remaining 27 countries in the EU, and that we get deals around the rest of the world. And the reason we want that is because trade brings jobs. Jobs brings prosperity, and jobs are important for people in Britain.
Why have you failed to articulate a clear vision of what you want out of our future relationship with Europe?
Well, I have set out over a year ago in my Lancaster House speech, then in the Florence speech in September.
That was over a year ago, and you failed to flesh out any detail.
I set out the principles on which our negotiations will be based. I set out in the Florence speech some further details in relation to that. What we want is a free trade arrangement with the European Union, which is as frictionless and tariff-free as possible, because the British people want us to take back control of our borders, our laws and our money, and that's exactly what we're going to do. But what we're also going to do is ensure that we can enhance, improve our trade with the rest of the world. We're doing that already, but we can do so much more in the future outside the EU.
You're going back home to a party openly briefing against you. What are you going to do to reassert your control?
Well, what the party wants is to ensure that we deliver on what the British people want. Yes, that's about Brexit, but it's also about other things as well. It's about our domestic agenda. In the last 24 hours or so, we've announced nearly £900 million that will enable councils to build homes for people, more of the homes that people need. That's good news for people. So the China trip means more jobs in the UK, but as a government, we're also getting on with the job of dealing with the issues that matter to people, like building the homes people need.
Thank you.
Thank you.